We're live here on Twitter X. Michael Rand, Postgame, Vikings 27, Bears 24, Monday Night Football, first game of the year. You waited all weekend for it. For a while, you probably wished you had waited longer because that was ugly for more than three quarters. It was 17-6 Bears into the fourth quarter. And frankly, the Vikings were lucky it was only 17-6. J.J. McCarthy was playing about as poorly as you could have imagined him playing in his debut, in his hometown, in his first game for the Vikings on Monday Night Football. Everyone's watching him. It's awful, right? Like he's holding the ball too much too early, taking some sacks, looks nervous, a little jittery. Gets a little bit better at the end of the first half, but has a nice completion. Will Reichard makes a long field goal end of the half when the officials bizarrely misspotted it by 5 yards. So KOC throws the field goal unit out there. They back him up 5 yards. At that point, he's like, what am I going to do? I'm out of timeouts. I can't just rush the offense back out there. So let's Reichard try like a 59-yarder. He makes it. So they only go into halftime down 10-6. If you feel like that's McCarthy's reprieve, he throws a pick six in the early third quarter, right when the Vikings have some momentum. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what has this offseason been about? Why did they pass on everybody? Why did they say no thanks, Aaron Rodgers? Why did they say Sam Darnold, go ahead and go to Seattle? Why did they say Daniel Jones, we don't need you, go to Indianapolis? Why did they do that? You're thinking all those things. A Vikings fan, you're having the worst possible thoughts. I know you are. I was having those thoughts too. So what happened? Here's this. I want to go to Blue Sky because this was perfect. From Ryan Gleason said, at what point did you think it was over? And then when was the moment where you came back around and thought, we'll never lose again? And that was that game, right? That was that game. You thought, no, like this couldn't possibly be worse for 45 minutes. And then for 15 minutes of football, you thought this couldn't possibly be better because it wasn't immediate, by the way. Don't let the narrative get away from you. Because it wasn't like right after the pick six, they pulled themselves up and it was off to the races. They had two straight 3-and-outs after the pick six. Then the Bears are driving. They get it 1st and 10 at the Vikings 24. It's into the fourth quarter. They're looking to close out the game. Even a field goal there feels pretty important, but a touchdown there feels like ball game. It feels like you're down 3 scores. It's ball game. You're going to go home. You're going to have all these questions. Everything's going to be negative post game. You're going to be asking all these things. Nothing's going to be seeming right, but they keep pushing them back. It gets to be like 3rd and 30 from the 44. They get some yards back, so they trot out poor Cairo Santos, who's probably one of the worst active kickers I've ever seen. Even when they make them, they look bad. And they miss. And you see J.J. McCarthy on the sideline, and he's fired up. He's like, okay, you've given me one more reprieve. And so that's Ryan Kostek, my sports editor. We did a bunch of those Wolves post-game playoff podcasts, wanted to know on X, what was the turning point for JJ? What's the overreaction take from the game? We're start with the turning point from JJ was definitely that moment, was the missed field goal, because they come back out there after the missed field goal. You got good field position because there's a long field game missed. So they got it at the 40. They go bam, right down the field. They march down for a touchdown, hits Jefferson in the end zone, 17-12. They get the ball back right away again. Right after the Bears go 3-and-out, they're terrible. They can't move the ball at all in the second half, and boom, they go right down again and score. Beautiful route, Aaron Jones, touchdown, 2-point conversion to Thielen. Also does 20-17. Suddenly they have a lead when they don't deserve to have been in the ball game 10 minutes ago. That's the moment. That's where you're like, okay, this is why J.J. McCarthy has a chance to be special. This is what he's all about. This is him as a winner. And when you say winner, like it gets to be cliche, right? Like a guy wins a lot. He won a national championship in Michigan. He was successful in high school. Like when you win a lot, you get labeled a winner. And like, well, that's nice. Like, but how much did he do? What does that really mean? A winner doesn't think they're ever going to lose. A winner doesn't ever say, you know what, wasn't our night. Let's just pack it in. We'll try again next time. He didn't lose faith. He was playing poorly. He was playing about as bad as he probably could have imagined himself playing. But then he got that reprieve. Winner, 2017. Get the ball back again. By the way, Price, the Vikings' new punt returner, he's nice. He is nice. He might be their best punt. I mean, okay, they haven't had a lot of great punt returners lately. He might be their best, like, I don't know, best punt returner, best kick returner since Cordero. I don't know. He's shifty like Percy. He's not that good, but he's got some moves in the punt return game that they have not had for a long time. Anyway, maybe since Marcus Sherrills. Sherrills gave him some nice juice, but Price is good. So he gave him some nice field position tonight. They go down and score again. McCarthy runs it in. They're milking clock, and they get the touchdown. It's 27-17. Like, all of a sudden, like, they're up 2 scores. Now the Bears go down and score fairly quickly. Could have been quicker if Caleb Williams, who missed about 18 throws, he made about 10, but he missed about 18, exaggerating, but he missed a wide open receiver that would have been a quick touchdown, might have given them the chance to score more quickly, might have made it make sense to kick it deep. As it was, 2:02 left, 1 timeout. Ben Johnson with the brain cramp. I know what he's going for. He's thinking Cairo Santos can kick it out of the end zone. What if he can't? That's not automatic. Like, these kickers are good, but it's not automatic that he can get out of the end zone. He boots it to like the -6. Vikings run it out. They kill that 2-point. They kill that 2-minute timeout. So all of a sudden, all they got to do is run it 3 times, punt it. There's 9 seconds left. Bears do 2 clown plays, game's over. So that's a miss. That's a miss from Ben Johnson. Not like they would have recovered the onside kick, even though they did last year, even though that's the only reason they got it to overtime last year at Soldier Field, when the Vikings somehow managed to come back off of that and still win in overtime. Anyway, that's the moment. The moment was when they missed that field goal, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, you gave me one more chance. You messed up. You gave me one more chance. I know I'm not playing well, but I've got more to show you than I've shown you so far. And anybody who gave up on that game, and I was close, anybody who gave up on that game was reminded of that. You don't need me to tell you that Skip Bayless is an idiot, but Skip Bayless gave up on it. He said Bears win. Bears did not, in fact, win. Vikings won. In fact, Vikings were up by 2 scores until what proved to be a fairly insignificant touchdown at the end. So you don't call it. You don't call game until the game is over. And for J.J. McCarthy to do that in his debut, to have a comeback win like that in his debut, his first game. I know it's his second-year quarterback, but he missed all of last year. First game as a Viking. First real game he's played in 18 months, however long it's been since he won a national championship in Michigan. To do that, to show the arm talent, but also the leadership, the calm, the ability to make those big plays, that's huge. Because then you go from like, okay, what did they do? How did they screw this up so badly to, okay, I get it. And you don't have to wait till game 2 or game 3 or game 10 to see it. You see the whole range of emotions. It's going to be ugly at times this year, right? It's going to be ugly at times this year because he's so new. He doesn't quite know what he's doing yet when the rush gets to him. He holds the ball a little bit too long. That's going to get him in trouble. Telegraph that throw to Jefferson on that 3rd down play that got pick sixed. That's going to happen. You don't want it to happen every game. That's hard to overcome every game, but that's going to happen. But you see the ability to come back from that. You see not just, hey, he's a winner. You see why he wins, because he makes the plays when he has to. He makes the plays when it matters. He did it in his very first game in his hometown when he's playing about as poorly as you could ever imagine him playing. That was J.J. McCarthy. That was the experience in this game. Some other stuff that I want to get to, then I'll run through some of your questions, then we'll get out of here because it's late. I'll probably talk about this more on tomorrow's regular edition of Daily Delivery as well. I got to the end. I got to that field goal at the end of the first half. We already talked about that. Ben Johnson's awful decision. The field was a mess. You saw, I think it was Chris Hockey, showing some pregame video of just the field. They had an Oasis concert at Soldier Field. Like, no shade to Oasis, but like, can you get your field in shape? so that people aren't slipping and sliding all over the place, so that maybe Christian Darrisaw can play. Field was awful. No surprise. It's an amateur operation, but what are you going to do? They remain amateur. Ben Johnson, he looks intense on the sidelines. He means business. Maybe he's got a chance to turn that around, but that seemed a lot like same old Bears, same old Caleb Williams for a lot of that game. That's got to be concerning because he had a whole season to play. This is not brand new for him. He's still making some familiar mistakes. He still looks like he's overmatched. He's missing throws that J.J. McCarthy makes a lot of the times. He's missing throws that he can't afford to miss. He's missing those key downs, those key throws, those weighty downs that Kevin O'Connell likes to talk about. That is not Caleb Williams' time to shine. That is J.J. McCarthy's time to shine. For a number one pick, he misses a lot of throws. Running game was okay, got going a little bit. I like Jordan Mason. You see the difference. Like, not going to be surprised if Jordan Mason gets the bulk of the work as the year goes on. And, that was certainly the case in this one. He wound up with most of the carries. Jones didn't have much going on at all early. Mason finishes with 15 carries for 68 yards. Jones 8 for 23. McCarthy 2 for 25. So they wind up with 120 rushing yards. That's not bad. 26 carries. So McCarthy only threw it 20 times. And they only ran 46 offensive plays. Like, basically it was either a 3 and out or it was a pretty quick touchdown drive. So it was a weird game. You don't go deep into your bag, but 26 runs to 20 passes is an interesting ratio, interesting mix for the Vikings. McCarthy's passer rating wound up close to 198.5. When I looked at it in the third quarter, it was like 35. It was terrible. Winds up with the 2 touchdown passes, the touchdown run. Can't be upset about that. Nobody's going to have great stats from this game, though, when you only run 46 plays. Jefferson gets, 44 yards and a touchdown. Jones catches 3 balls for 44 yards and that long touchdown. Naylor had a big catch at the end of the first half. Nobody's going to get fat off of these stats, though. This was a grinded out. This was not pretty. 200 and how many total yards? 254 total yards. That's not where you want to be. I mean, the second half was much better, but a lot to clean up. They'll have a lot to. I kind of jokingly tweeted the quarterback whisperer is going to have to become the quarterback shouter at halftime or when they're watching film. He must have been so mad. Like, he's just trying to keep calm. He's got to be so mad, O'Connell, how they're playing. Like, it was just a mess. They were just a mess for so much of the night. And then to win anyway, I don't know. It's impressive that they were able to win in that fashion. Steve on X says, best combo of brains, confidence, and steadiness that we could ever hope for in game one. My optimism is way past Minnesota safe. I mean, there it is, right? Like, that, you see it. You see the possibility with McCarthy. You see he can make the throws. You see he's got it between the eyes. He's got it. He's got something there. Doesn't mean it's going to all work out, but he's got something. He'll make you pull your hair out because he's going to make some mistakes, but he's got something. I love that people are optimistic about it because it was very pessimistic. My group chat was about as pessimistic as we could get. Although my friend John, when it was as lowest of the lows, he put in there, this is all going to be really funny when they come back and win. He's the most pessimistic of all of us. And he was right. They came back and win. Andrew says, I think I'm going to have to readjust my expectations for this season. Oh, readjust. He had said earlier, I'm going to have to readjust my expectations for this season, adding after the comeback, readjust. It was just that kind of game, right? Like, the emotional swing was ridiculous. Like, this game was, Skip Bayless was almost right. Like, it felt like it was over. Now, you don't go and say that because then you expose yourself later, but it felt like it. Tim in my group chat messaged me on Twitter, said, do you think my message in our group chat was the turning point? That might have been the turning point, Tim. I don't know. Luke said, I was surprised before halftime. KOC pushed for points. Great to see aggressiveness rewarded. That Reichard field goal being the difference in the end. Great point. They could have easily packed it in and said, you know what? Lucky to be only down 10-3. But I think he wanted to see McCarthy get something going. If there was a shot to be had, why not, right? Like, you're playing so poorly, why not? They take a shot, they get it down the field. Even the refs couldn't mess them up with their 5-yard miss spot. Reichard, crushes it from 59. That was a big point. That was a big part of the game. Again, momentum swung back with the pick six, but those 3 points ended up being very important. He was right in that game. The overreaction take from this game, going back to Ryan Kostecka, the overreaction take from this game is probably going to be on McCarthy. And, oh man, he's got it. He's got this thing. And we got to temper that, right? Like, it's one game, it's one quarter really against a bad Bears team. They still look bad. They got they might be better this year, but they're still the Bears. Ben Johnson will do some things with them, but they're still the Bears. So we got to watch it. We got to avoid getting too high off of that one. That's the overreaction take that we got to watch from this game. But man, if you watched him in camp, if you've been around McCarthy, he's got something. When he talks, he's got something. He's 22. He's more mature than most 35-year-olds, maybe more mature than some 48-year-olds who are talking to you right now. He's got something. He can make the throws. If he can make the throws, then he can be that guy. He can be that guy. Over on Blue Sky, really quick before we go, Tim says, really pleased with the improvements in the return game. Hopefully it's sustainable. 100%. Miles Price, like I said before, he's nice. Punt returning, it's nice. He's got some moves. He's gonna take one to the house this year. He almost did in this game. Let's see. Yeah, special teams showed up big. T Gage also wants to build the whole thing out of the fourth quarter. I agree. Play like that all the time. Don't give us a heart attack like this. We don't need that. That's just easy. That's easy money. It's easy to see that. WYJ, I love this one, says, I missed the first 10 minutes or so of the game because my toddler took himself to the potty to poop for the first time. I'm going to pause the middle of this message, this Blue Sky post, to say, I've got 3 kids. I've been there with all 3 of them. This is a huge moment. You don't mess around with this moment. If this is happening, you don't say, hey, wait, the game is on. You go and you sit. So he says, of course, I sat with him, encouraged him to take as much time as he needed, and praised him endlessly. Totally worth it. I see many parallels with the Vikings' performance tonight. Yes, the Vikings did took a metaphorical dump for a while. Not their first, unlike his toddler son, but that was a dump they were taking for a long time. Totally worth it, though. The payoff was there. Some people are congratulating him, said, dude, congrats. Hell yeah to both of you. That's a big deal. I love it. I love the support. I love it. Skolny says, thoughts going to the Super Bowl. Too early for that, but man, that's a fun game. That's a fun game. And, Slacker and KC wondering why the defense looks so passive early on. I think Flores does that sometimes. He kind of feels it out, doesn't unleash his wrath until he has to. I think he let Williams get a little comfortable, maybe too comfortable, because it was 10 straight passes he completed, but then he unleashed it, and Williams was a mess pretty much the rest of the game. So that's what I got for you on this post-game edition of the Daily Delivery Podcast. Thanks for all the great questions. Thanks for staying up late. More stuff. I'll probably have some more nuanced takes on Tuesday's regular edition. I'll throw this one up as a regular pod and on YouTube as well momentarily, but more thoughts to come. Yeah, what a night. I didn't think I was going to be talking about this about an hour ago. I thought I was going to be talking about something entirely more negative, but it's the beauty of football. It's the beauty of the Vikings, and maybe it is the beauty of J.J. McCarthy.